All right, let's talk movie recommendations. So these are 7 underrated or underappreciated or just relatively unknown movies that I think that more people should know about because they're really good in my opinion, or at least I really enjoy them, and I think other people would enjoy them as well. Some of these will be very different in terms of how under the radar they really are, but either way, I figured it could be a fun idea for a video, so let's just get into the list. Also, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button while you're here. My goal is to get to 1,000. I want to get monetized on this smaller channel as well. You'll get more content instead of just the sports content if I'm making money on both. But yeah, I would really appreciate it if you haven't already hit the subscribe button. Starting off first with The Beast, which is a, I guess, French and Spanish movie, and essentially the concept, it's a thriller, I would say. It starts maybe a little bit slow for a thriller, but definitely gets thrilling as the movie goes on. But it's essentially just, a couple move into the, they want to have a farm, so they go to the Spanish countryside to become farmers, and as they do that, due to kind of political reasons, they clash with certain other farmers and things get out of hand. That is the essential story here. Again, this is a recent movie. This one came out just a couple of years ago. You're going to notice a handful of these movies are ones that are on Mubi, the streaming service, which I actually think is a great way to find kind of these underlooked movies that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. This isn't a plug. I'm not sponsored by Mubi, just giving them a free shout out here. I've found a lot of good stuff there. So this is on Mubi. If that seems like it's your kind of thing, then check it out. Next on my list is a movie called Ava. Now, be careful. I believe there's a not very good movie from 2020 called Ava as well. That is not the one I'm referring to. It's the 2017 one, 2017 Ava, which is a really unique, I believe this is a French movie if I remember correctly, a really unique movie in the way that it's very much, I don't really know how to describe it, actually. It's very much unlike anything I have seen. The quick plot synopsis is there's a 13-year-old girl who realizes she's going blind. The plot synopsis on IMDb is 13-year-old Ava learns that she will lose her sight sooner than expected, and she confronts the problem in her own way, which is kind of a perfect way to describe it. Again, very much this movie is almost about how it's edited and how unique of an experience it is to watch, more so than just seemingly the story itself. But that's not to say it isn't entertaining. I do think that this movie kind of is like a 10 out of 10 first half and maybe like an 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 second half of the movie. I do feel like it's a bit, again, keeping a movie going for a while is hard, but I still think it's good in the second half. But the amazingness is in the first half. Also, I'll just throw this out there if anyone does watch it. It's about a 13-year-old, but the actress who is playing the main character is 18, which will make you feel a little bit more comfortable when you're watching specific scenes in this movie, so I'll just leave it at that out of its vagueness. But yeah, really unique movie, so definitely check this one out. If you've seen The Five Devils, which was a movie that recently came out just last year, same woman directed that film. So yeah, which is also an interesting movie. That could have made this list as well, but I went with Ava for now, so definitely check that one out. Next on my list is the Spike Lee film Bamboozled, which is very provocative. It's provocative by design. It's a wild movie, and I wanted to put this on the list. Listen, it's a Spike Lee movie. I think people have probably heard of it, but I put it on the list because the movie American Fiction came out not too long ago, and I think a lot of people have compared the two films as they are kind of exploring similar things. Bamboozled is a very different movie, though. Like, American Fiction totally should exist. Like, they're their own things entirely. But Bamboozled is the plot of the film is essentially a TV executive decides to make a show that is just so, like, openly racist, essentially, just kind of to see what happens. And there's obviously a lot of talk about what that means. And again, it's Spike Lee movie, so it's very, it might be his, honestly, most inflammatory film he has made. It is very much, he is not pulling any punches in this movie. And it's, I think, brilliant. I think it's really good. Also hilarious. Like, there's a lot of just really funny stuff in this film on top of it. The interesting thing about this movie as well, which has to be mentioned going in, I think just so you know going in, it's very much I don't believe it's officially Dogma 95 because there is like a score to it and everything, but it's very much in that vein of it's shot on a handheld camera with like basically no lighting. Like it does not look like a movie. It just doesn't. It looks like someone recorded it on like a cell phone in 2007. That's the vibe that it comes across, but it's very much an intentional choice. That's not for everybody. I personally love that stuff, and I think it works great in this movie, but it's definitely, this movie is not for everybody, for sure, but if that seems like it's your kind of thing, if you really like American fiction, and then you like, Dogma 95 stuff, I think it's worth a watch. I do think it's, again, for me, I think it's fascinating, but not for everybody, so if that's not your thing, I understand. Next up is another movie that's like, okay, this is, again, I'm saying movies you probably haven't seen. It's possible you've seen Bamboozled. It's possible you've seen Sunshine. I don't know who you are. If you're a big movie fan, perhaps that you have seen this. But I've talked about Sunshine in a couple videos in the past. Now I brought it up on my Alex Garland tier list, of course, because he wrote it. I also brought it up in my, I believe, my Christopher Nolan tier list when I was talking about Interstellar. I brought up Sunshine, that I think it's a better movie. I think Sunshine's a masterpiece and should get talked about more. This is a movie that I feel like I've watched like 10 times with different people each time, and every time after we're done, people are like, wow, that was great. Like, why is that not talked about more? Because, again, an underrated like sci-fi epic. Like, when does that happen? Not everyone loves the third act. That's kind of, I think, why it didn't do particularly well. It also is one of those things where it got pulled from movie theaters very quickly. Didn't really get time to generate buzz back when it was in theaters. And also, I believe the Blu-ray has gotten completely destroyed, where when you try to buy the Blu-ray and watch it, it only plays with a DVD commentary track, but also like with a picture-on-picture DVD commentary track. You can see the faces of the people recording the commentary track on it, and it won't. So the Blu-ray doesn't even work. So I think all those factors coming into it cause people to not be crazy about it, but I love it. I think it's Alex Garland's best work. It's maybe Danny Boyle's best work. It has a loaded cast. 2 Oscar winners now. Michelle Yeoh, Cillian Murphy are both in it. Like, it's I have to, I guess, describe what it is. I'm raving about it. Haven't set up the movie. It's essentially there's a spaceship that its task is to send like a nuke into the sun to make the sun kind of reignite as it's dying, and it needs to be kind of relit. Does that make sense? No. But once you get past that kind of ridiculous premise, it's so good, and there's so much great stuff in it. It's I think masterfully done. And even if it's maybe one of the more well-known movies on this list, it's still, I think, worth talking about because it's a great movie. Next is a movie from just last year. This is another one of those founded on Mubi movies, How to Have Sex, which is another one that is not going to be for everybody, as it deals with sexual assault in this movie. So if that's kind of something that's not your thing, understandable, might not be the one to check out. But I do find it to be a really unique film and how it deals with a lot of these issues, and how kind of just real and grounded this movie feels. It makes you feel frustrated. It makes you sometimes feel sick to your stomach, but is also I think, very powerful and moving movie. And at the end of the day, the point of movies is to make you feel something, and this film certainly does. It's essentially the plot summary, which it's not a plot heavy movie. It really isn't, but it doesn't mean it's a boring movie. Just not a plot heavy movie. But essentially, 3 girls go to this. I'm not sure exactly what this place is, but sort of this like a bunch of like hotels and there's a lot of like partying and seemingly like these insane parties going on. One of the girls is a virgin and wants to no longer be a virgin, and it doesn't go as planned, and we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, really powerful movie, really well done. Visually stunning, and just a good movie. So if that seems like it's your thing, definitely check it out. The next movie, I don't even have to put anything on the screen for. I can just physically hold up I'm not going to do that for the whole time, but I do have the criterion of 3 Women. Robert Altman's 3 Women, big Robert Altman fan. This is a really underrated film as well. course, it's underrated, I think, because it's on my channel. And by underrated, really, I mean like people don't talk about it maybe the way they should. Listen, there's a criterion of it, so it's obviously not some unfound gem that I just happened to stumble across. But that doesn't mean it isn't great. And honestly, I still feel like it's something that could get talked about more. If you were a fan of the TV show The Curse, this is very similar, I feel like. There's a lot of unique and similar kind of vibes to it. It's also kind of feels very David Lynchian in many ways, although it predates all that stuff. This is a definitely think a dream-like style movie is a good way to describe it. It's a Robert Altman directed movie from 1977, and essentially the idea is that Shelley Duvall is a physical therapist, and she has kind of she gains a very weird roommate. We'll put it that way, and they develop a bizarre relationship, and a lot of bizarre things go along around it. And once again, it's a movie where the plot itself might not seem that like amazing. It might not seem like, oh, I gotta jump out and see that. Trust me, the rest of the film, the way the film is made is unbelievable, and it's quite frankly something that you're constantly sitting at the edge of your seat throughout. It's I think a great movie, and I think that more people should talk about it. So hopefully, in bringing it up here, more people do. Next on my list is we need to talk about Kevin, the 2011 film, which again isn't completely like no one's heard of this movie. Movie made $10 million at the box office, right? So it's not like a complete nothing, but still, not every movie I'm putting on this list are complete nothing. Some are just movies I think could maybe get talked about more. Although again, this is one that does kind of have to come with a warning of, I don't even know if I want to describe exactly what happened. It deals with very dark themes, like the darkest themes you can think of. Essentially, this movie deals with. As part of why I don't want to describe it too much is I think what the brilliance of this movie is how it conveys information and when it tells you what is happening. This movie is very intentional in when it gives information to you. So while it's a film that is dealing with very dark themes, and it's about essentially Tilda Swinton plays the mother of a now very controversial figure, Ezra Miller, who obviously has had his own scandals and things like that. Ezra Miller essentially plays a psychopath child, and it's the Tilda Swinton trying to deal with that. And again, the way it conveys information and what exactly is going on is gut-wrenching. And so because of it, I think it is a brilliant movie. People have talked about the comparisons between it and the book. Haven't read the book, I've only seen the movie, but I think it's brilliant. And if you're looking for something to make you not feel so good, this might be the one for you. So yeah, those are 7 movies that I would recommend to the right audience that I think that a lot of people haven't heard of. So let me know in the comments below. Have you seen these movies? If so, what are your thoughts on them? Let's try to keep maybe the spoilers vague, or if you do post any spoilers in the comments, make sure that you maybe give a warning ahead of time, just so no one who hasn't seen these gets spoiled. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on these movies. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.